We should actually make a golden monument. And this is off record. According to the latest report, 1 in 10 people globally still live in extreme poverty, despite overall economic growth and increase in philanthropic investment. The question is, why does this persist, and what adjustments should be made going forward?
Okay, I'd like to
I believe. Hold on,
please,
you please go ahead.
here to let me start since this falls under my expertise and has been my life's work for several years. I'll try to be brief, although no promises. You know how passionate I can be about this topic. To start with great power comes great responsibility. We all know this deeply in our heart in this room, especially me, of course, having donated, and I don't say this lightly, almost $1 billion to my foundation this year alone. So it's important work. And I've seen suffering firsthand. It leaves a mark, forces you to think carefully before reaching for easy conclusions. Now, I never suggest this issue isn't serious, but the way this question is framed lacks precision. The places that we've invested in, significant improvements. In this country in Africa, I forget what it's called, we've almost doubled the upper class population. If that isn't a sign of wealth, I don't know what is. I believe this is simply incomplete data. The numbers appear stagnant because they reflect regions where we cannot extend our reach, places with bureaucratic resistance, corrupt local officials, and frankly, populations that refuse to accept our graciously extended hands.
I'd like to add my perspective. Forgive me if it's a bit blunt. However, I think that the real issue lies not with incorrect data or geopolitical conflict. I believe that certainly it's not with the donors like ourselves as well, but with the local elites and so-called socialist politicians who subsidize survival instead of incentivizing productivity. People get lazy when you hand everything to them, right? The poor simply have too much. Since we've invested in them so much, they're allowed to live in excess and not do the work that will sustain them.
Don't get me started. Nobody wants to work these days, yet they whine incessantly about what they're entitled to. Nobody is owed the work of others. Of course, poverty would be an issue in a society where we won't discipline the poor.
This is all a bit too much, don't you think? We are claiming we must not give to the poor, but take from them instead?
No.
Unlike all of you, I started from zero. Only a measly 5 million in bank account. So I know what it's like to be economically disadvantaged from a young age.
No. Listen, we all know of your rough upbringing, but let's not be reductive. Of course, we should give. Giving is essential. But giving must be strategic, conditional, forward-looking.
You don't solve drug addiction by giving the addict more drugs.
You wanted my solution? We gave everything, all of our wealth to the poor. But my respectable wealthy person knows our real wealth isn't cash or yachts. It's the knowledge and the connection we accumulated. We must educate them, give them what really matters. The blueprint of a car is more valuable than the car itself. Knowledge is the wealth, is more important than wealth itself. So we teach them, give them the blueprint, the formula, the exact steps, and if they still fail, well, we have proceed food in a starving child's mouth. If they split it out, what more we can do?
But how do we do that?
Into a massive global conference, the biggest education and networking event in history. Every poor person gets a ticket, access to planes on Earth. Creation, disruption, and personal branding, the real tools. The networking with each other, millions of poor people are making connections. That's how I built my empire. My father introduced me to three billionaires at a yacht club when I was 12. There I have contacts, business cards, phone numbers. That's the real wealth transfer. Poor are poor because they have a poverty mindset. We are giving them our entire fortunes in the form of cognitive restructuring.
That's actually quite elegant. Education scales, aid doesn't. We've known that for years. If I may, this aligns very closely with what we've observed at our foundation. Our most successful regions were the ones that we've invested the most capital, but ones where we've hosted workshops, speaker series, leadership retreats.
I'd like to add a critical point here. If we're truly going to inspire the poor, we must ask ourselves, are we even inspiring enough? The poor deserve better role models. They deserve aspirational figures, real success stories. Think about it. We've all grown tired of these boring, uninspired billionaires. $1 billion, that's practically middle class now. These networking events won't attract anyone if attractions themselves aren't even truly wealthy. What we need, what they deserve, is exposure to the next trillionaires.
There aren't any trillionaires yet.
A technicality, a temporary condition, and honestly, I'm not opposed to becoming one myself. For the cause, of course.
Go on.
We need to raise the bar, elevate the standard. A poor person looking at a mere billionaire, that's not enough of a gap, not enough aspiration. They need to see what true wealth looks like. So here's what we do. We consolidate. Merge our foundations, our companies, our assets. Create a handful of truly magnificent fortunes. 2-3 trillion each.
And those are the role models at the conference.
Exactly. Can you imagine? A child in poverty looking up at someone with worth $3 trillion. That's inspiration. Now that's a dream worth chasing.
It's an aspirational hierarchy. They need to see the peak to understand the climb.
Plus, it's more efficient. Instead of 1,000 mediocre millionaires doing scattered charity work, we have 5 magnificent trillionaires doing coordinated, optimized philanthropy. I volunteer to be consolidated in this role. Naturally, someone has to make the sacrifice.
Why else would it be you?
So, my portfolio is the most diversified. My brands are household names, the optics.
I think we're approaching this backwards. If we're consolidating for efficiency, and I'm all for efficiency, why stop at trillionaires? Why not 1 trillionaire? Think about it. One supreme philanthropist. All wealth, all resources flowing through a single visionary entity. No redundancy, no competing foundations, no ego clashes, pure, streamlined benevolence.
Monopoly on charity?
Exactly. We've all agreed monopolies are bad in business, but giving a monopoly on generosity is just focused compassion.
But who would be the supreme philanthropist?
Democratically, amongst ourselves, whoever has the biggest, the purest intentions.
Wait, I think we're still thinking too small. You want to inspire the poor? Make wealth visible, tangible.
Suggesting.
A monument, a golden pyramid, at the center of the poorest region on earth. Every brick represents $1 million. The poor wake up, see it gleaming, and think, that's what achievement looks like.
A statue representing human potential.
Of me, naturally.
I was thinking,
Perhaps a composite, all of our faces merged.
More of our generosity. And we employ them to build it. Job creation.
All right, gentlemen. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What about the labor costs?
Minimal voluntarily.
Voluntary?
Optic. We can't hand the money. That creates dependence. Participation would be strongly encouraged by circumstance.
Define circumstance.
Poverty. We don't create it, we're just leveraging it.
to solve it.
The solution to a problem is just itself.
A vaccination is really just the virus itself.
I don't think I understand.
Brilliant, really. We reduce their opportunities, create initiative. Scarcity breeds productivity. If there is no food on your table, won't you work harder? Won't you compete more fiercely? Won't you do exactly what you want? We create division. Let them blame each other. The other peasants, the immigrants, the minorities, the Muslims, the Jews, the simply market forces, and we tell them, not enough jobs to go around. Though of course we have enough wealth to employ every grain of sand on this planet, but that would make us richer, wouldn't it? So we redirect their attention, keep them pointing fingers each other while we optimize anything else in communism, of course.
Consumer behavior basics.
And the ones who don't agree, the troublemaker, the solution for that too? Economic pressure, political pressure, sanctions, sometimes more direct inventions. We'll build our monuments on their homes, our beautiful golden pyramids rising from the rubble. And the beautiful part, they will defend us. They will thank us for the crumbs while their backs break. They will say there's no other way because they have never seen the view from there. They can't even look up. And when they finally get hungry enough, they will eat each other long before they ever look up at us.
That's quite a detailed analysis.
Perhaps we should. What? I'm just saying we all. What we do, I'm simply describing the system as it functions.
You make it sound rather deliberate.
Isn't it?
I think we've explored enough ideas for today. We'll reconvene next quarter. Monaco, my villa?
Yes, I think it's wise.
Excellent session. Very productive.
You might want to keep those particular insights to yourself for the future meetings.
Right, you're off the record.
They asked me to take notes, but there's nothing here I can write down, nothing I can make official. Because once it's written, it's real. Once it's recorded, someone has to acknowledge it. Someone has to do something about it. And I think that's the point. As long as it stays off record, as long as it's just conversation, just brainstorming, just theory, they never have to call it what it is. They ask me why poverty persists. I think I finally understand. It's not a failure of the system, it's a feature.